Hello and welcome back to my musical journey here on 3TFM Radio. You can find us online at www.3tfm.org.uk or on the airwaves at 103.1 FM. I'm Hayley Anderson, and today we're joined by my co-host Cameron McMenemy and our special guest Lily Ferguson. So hi buddy, how are we today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very good. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
So why don't we start off with you telling us a bit about yourself and your music?
So my name's Lily and I have been playing music for I think about 6 or 7 years now. So I play guitar and I sing, and I've been gigging for about 5 of those years. I really love it, and I've recently started a YouTube channel as well, just to post my videos throughout the pandemic.
Right, so just can you tell us, like, where did your passion for music come from? Was it like a family member that got you into music?
Well, when I was younger, I don't really know where I got it from, but I was always just a bit of a wee performer. I was always up on stage wanting to do things. I did karaoke all of the time. It's so embarrassing looking back on it now, but I've just always I've liked being in front of people and performing, and my parents always really encouraged it, telling me I sounded great when I probably didn't. But I think that's where it comes from, definitely.
So you've been playing since a really young age then, yeah?
I've been singing since I could talk, probably.
What do you think the first song was you actually could sing like fluently?
Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz. I think my mum really liked that. I used to just sing it. You can just picture it, a little toddler singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It sounds quite cute, actually.
So what instruments can you play then?
So I play guitar, and I also play ukulele and bass. Both of which are quite similar to the guitar, so they kind of all go hand in hand. It's once you've learned one, it's kind of easier to learn the other ones. So
what was school like days? What were your school days like? Just can you tell us a bit about that?
I was quite shy in school, more so in high school than I was in primary school. As I said, I was quite a confident child, but then things change when you kind of hit your teenage years a little bit, and I became a bit more shy. So in high school, I never really did music, and I didn't do music like classes or anything. I kind of kept to myself. I had my friends. It was fine. It was just kind of a normal high school experience. As I got a bit older, I kind of got involved with like the school shows and pantomimes and things like that. So a bit of acting in there as well.
In primary school then, were you a bit more involved in music? Did you play like in the school choir or like the concert band or anything?
Yeah, I was involved in the choirs usually, and school shows and stuff like that. I was always kind of volunteering for things like that, putting myself forward for it. But I don't know, as you get a bit older, you get a bit more like, you worry more what people think of you. When I was little, I was a bit more fearless with that sort of thing. Then high school, it's a bit like, oh, what are people going to say?
Yeah, typical teenage stuff.
Yeah.
So is there any like shows from when you were that age that kind of stick out as like being like really fun to do or anything?
When I was in primary 6, I did a school singing talent show thing, and I remember that being really fun. My dad would come home from work, and he'd been talking to all his work pals about it, and they were like, oh, this is what you should do this dance move, and it's gonna be great. Like, it was a competition, so my dad and all of his work pals were pure invested in like getting me to win. So it was a good laugh. I didn't win in the end, but
Trying
I think that really kind of developed, like, I know, it was just good fun. It was just like, I'm a bit competitive myself, and I think that might be where I get it from.
Yeah.
Is anyone else in your family like into music or singing or anything like that?
Not really, no. My mum and dad both like listening to music in different ways, so I kind of have different sort of musical influences. Like my dad, every other day, he's like, oh Lily, I found this song on YouTube. Like, he just goes on YouTube and listens to like random playlists and discovers new songs, and he tells me oh Lily, I think you'd be great at singing that one, stuff like that. But no one really like sings or anything. I don't know where I got that from.
Bit of an outlier.
Must be.
So I think we'll go into your first song then, which is Toxic by Britney Spears. Do you want to tell me why you chose that one and where the sort of love for that song came from?
Well, as I said, when I was younger, I would do karaoke all the time, and I was into like your sort of diva singers like Britney Spears and Beyonce, ones like that, Rihanna. And then when I started gigging when I was about 16 or 17, I just learned like an acoustic version of that song. And it always kind of surprises people when I say I do that, but it's kind of for the people that have seen me perform at lots of different places, they always say, oh, are you going to do Toxic? Are you going to do Toxic? And it's one that everyone knows. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows Britney Spears, and it always people always enjoy it. So that's why I've chosen that one.
Well, let's hear that track then.
Baby, can't you see I'm calling? A guy like you should wear a warning. It's dangerous, I'm falling. There's no escape, I can't wait. Need a hit, baby, give me it. It's dangerous, I'm loving it. Too high, can't come down. It's in the air and it's all around. Oh, do you feel me now? With a taste of your lips, I'm alright. You're toxic, I'm slipping under with a taste of your poison paradise. I'm addicted to you, don't you know that you're toxic? Oh, 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 and I love what you do, don't you know that you're toxic? Oh, oh. It's getting late to give you up. I took a sip from a devil's cup. Slowly it's taking over me. Too high, can't come down. It's in the air and it's all around. Oh, do you feel me now? With a taste of your lips, I'm alright. You're toxic, I'm slipping under with a taste of your poison paradise. I'm addicted to you, don't you know that you're toxic? Oh, 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 and I love what you do, don't you know that you're toxic? Oh, oh, know that you're toxic. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now, I think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now, I think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now. I'm addicted to you, don't you know that you're toxic? And I love what you do, don't you know that you're toxic?
So when did you decide to start gigging and playing pub to the public?
Well, it was really my mum and dad that pushed me into that, because I'd been learning guitar for a while. I was about 15 and I'd been learning, but I wasn't really doing anything with what I was learning. And my mum and dad were like, what's the point in just kind of hiding it in your room if you're enjoying it and if you like it? And obviously they're very supportive, so they would always say that I was talented or whatever. So they said there was this program for young people on in my town. It was called Band Factory, where you go and you're put into a band with people that you don't know. And for a week, you work on songs together as a band, and at the end of the week, you perform at a gig, and it's all organised and it's mentored and supervised by professional local musicians. And I was so scared. I was so shy. I barely spoke to anyone all week. But by the gig at the end of it, I'd just totally come out of my shell. And that was when I realised that actually, like, I liked performing in front of people. I liked kind of seeing people sing along and dance when I was performing. So that's definitely where that came from. And I'm really grateful that Mum and Dad pushed me into that, because if they hadn't, I probably would like never have done anything like this. I would have just kept to myself.
Yeah.
What has been your favourite place to gig or like play at publicly since you started like getting into playing?
I always play at the beer festival in my town. It's on every August, every summer. And there's a big beer festival in Beath, and that's where I'm from. It's not a very big town, so I know a lot of the people from here and they know me. So every year since that's been on, I've performed at it, just 15-minute sets, and it's always amazing. It's better to get a slot towards the end of the evening, because everyone's had quite a lot of the beer by that time. So everyone's always singing and dancing along. It's just always a really good laugh. I'm never really nervous about it, because I always just feel totally comfortable. It's all people that I know. It's really good fun.
Sounds like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So how often do you would say you would used to gig or go to events in a year? Obviously not last year, but
Before it.
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't know. It's hard to say. I would do the beer festival was always kind of a certainty every year, and then I would just kind of see what came up. So pub gigs, sometimes there would just be pubs looking for some live music on a Saturday night, and I would do those. Charity kind of events. I would kind of message around and see if anyone was looking for live music. So it certainly wasn't as much as like every weekend, but it would probably be like at least once a month I would be doing something.
So is there any like funny or embarrassing moments you can think of when performing? Anything that didn't go quite right?
Well, one of the things that I learned when I was doing my first gig, that was supervised by professional musicians, they always kind of taught us how to avoid that sort of thing. So they gave us like tips and tricks to sort of avoid stepping on a lead and becoming unplugged and everything. But for me, it's always like it really depends on the audience what it's going to be like. So as I mentioned, I did a pub gig one time, and they're always a bit iffy because people aren't really there to listen to you necessarily. So a lot of times you'll be singing, you're not getting much response. But then this was a Saturday night, and towards the end of the night, people were getting a bit drunk, and they kept coming up to me and being like, "Oh, I love to sing. Can I sing this song?" And I was just like, I didn't really know what to do. So I kind of let one person take the mic, and I played while they sang. And then from then on, it was just a nightmare. Everyone was just coming up to me like, "Oh, can I sing this? Can I sing that?" And I was just myself, and I was like, I don't know how to tell you that I'm getting paid for this. Like, and you're not. Like, this is not really,
Nightmare.
This isn't really what's meant to be happening here.
I know.
I think we'll go into your second song then, which is This Is the Life by Amy Macdonald. Do you want to tell me a bit about that one?
Yeah, so I always really like that one because it's by a Scottish woman like myself, just plays with her guitar. I think she's amazing. And I played that song at a gig one time at a festival, and I was really nervous. I didn't know anyone there. I was just by myself, and it was the first act of the night. So I was thinking, no one's going to be listening to me. No one's going to bother. It's not going to go well. And I sang that song, and everyone in the place was singing along. It was amazing. It was like, it really kind of brought my confidence up. But it was just hearing everyone singing along, everyone loving that song. It really kind of means a lot to me, that one performance of it.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll go
Yeah,
into
so
that one then.
Oh, the wind whistles down the cold dark street tonight, and the people, they were dancing to the music vibe, and the boys chase the girls with their curls in their hair, and the shock to many you sit way over there. Songs that get louder, each one better than before. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life. And you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life. And you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? Where you gonna sleep tonight? Oh, the wind whistles down the cold dark street tonight, and the people, they were dancing to the music vibe, and the boys chase the girls with the curls in their hair, and the shocked men and you sit way over there, and the songs get louder, each one better than before. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? Where you gonna sleep tonight? So you're heading down the road in your taxi before, and you're waiting outside Jimmy's front door, but nobody's in, nobody's home to help for. So you're sitting there with nothing to do, talking about Robert Riker and his motley crew, and where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? Where you gonna sleep tonight? Oh, da 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 da. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head feels twice the size. Where you gonna go, where you gonna go, where you gonna sleep tonight? Where you gonna sleep tonight?
So when and why did you start your YouTube channel?
So I think I actually started my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, kind of just to have. I posted a couple of things on it, but I didn't really like take it seriously or anything. It was just kind of as a musician, so that I had a YouTube channel to link people to, a Facebook page, things like that. But it was really the start of the pandemic last year that I decided to start recording and posting on there, because obviously there was no live gigs to go to. So I just thought it's something to keep me busy. I wasn't working at the time, so it was just something to really pass the time and hopefully give other people something to do as well, something to watch.
So what type of things do you post on your YouTube channel?
I post a lot of covers, just ones that I've recorded in my bedroom, but I also do tutorials as well. That was kind of my idea when I started it. I was like, everyone's stuck at home, everyone's bored. If I know that there will be plenty of people that are just sitting about with like guitars that they've never really bothered to learn, or Christmas presents that they've never managed to start. And when I was first learning guitar, I learned from YouTube. So I just thought I'll make the tutorials that I would have liked to see when I was starting out and just see what happens. And it was another wee challenge for me as well.
So what were like your YouTube influences, the people that inspired you to sort of start doing YouTube?
Well, I wasn't really that into YouTube when I was younger. But I watched all kind of the classic YouTubers like Zoella, for example, and she really made it big. I remember when I was about 13 and watching her, and then all of a sudden she's like a major celebrity millionaire. So there is always something in the back of your mind where you're like, what if this just takes off and everyone really likes it? But in terms of music, as I said, when I was first learning guitar, there was this YouTube channel. I think it's Marty's Guitars or Marty's Tutorials. And he always posted like really detailed beginner guitar tutorials. And he went over everything from like the actual chords and how to play them down to the strumming pattern, and like really explained it in depth. And that was kind of what I wanted to kind of emulate, to make it something that kind of anyone could watch, beginners could watch, and you don't really need to have any prior knowledge to pick it up and to learn it.
Are there any like difficulties in YouTube, would you say?
I think that motivation to carry on with it is one of the biggest difficulties. It's quite hard to kind of find the motivation to continue, especially because engagement and views can be so inconsistent. And I try not to have any expectations necessarily for like engagement or whatever that I'm going to get on a post. But when you post one video and it gets a lot of views and likes and stuff, and then you post another one and it gets maybe 100 views, it makes you think, oh, that one must have been rubbish. No one likes that. I should just delete that. And then you're like, well, I don't know what I want to do next, because it's just a bit disheartening. So yeah. I think that kind of the hardest thing is just pushing through and just creating the content that I want to create rather than what I think is going to get views.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a difficulty in that. So how would you say the lockdown's been? Has lockdown been difficult? Obviously not being able to go out and perform and sing to people. You know, has it been difficult?
Yeah, it has been quite like it has been quite hard again with motivation and things like that. Like when you're just sitting about, it's like it's just hard to find the time and the desire to get up and do something productive. I think it's kind of affected most people in that way with like motivation and things like that. But I have found it, I mean, less so now, but at the start of the pandemic, when it was the summertime and no one was working and everything like that, I found that I found that doing music, it gave me kind of a reason to like do things. Like I would put a bit of makeup on to record a video, for example, and even that just makes you feel a bit more normal than sitting about in joggies all the time.
Yeah.
You got any exciting plans or things you're looking forward to when we come out of like major lockdown into like the lower levels?
Well, beer gardens are opening and things, so I'm really hoping that places will want like outdoor musicians. I've got my fingers crossed for a really nice summer again, because last year we had quite a lot of sunshine. So yeah. I'm really hoping for that, because a lot of stuff is still going to be outdoors, busking and things like that. So hopefully we get some sunshine, and then that will be kind of what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, definitely. So we're now going to come on to our third track, which is Caledonia by Dougie MacLean. Why have you picked that?
That was one of the first songs that I posted on my YouTube channel at the start of the pandemic. The other things that I'd posted before that had just been kind of random things. But it was the start of the pandemic. I'd just moved back home and I was like kind of looking for something to do. And I love that song. I've always loved that song. I'd lived in France for a while and I really missed being in Scotland, and I felt like that song really spoke to me. So I recorded that and I posted it on my YouTube, and that was kind of the start of my lockdown music YouTube project. So that's why I've included that one.
Okay, let's hear that track then.
have come over me in these last few days. I've been afraid I may drift away. So I've been telling old stories and singing old songs that make me think about where I came from, and there's a reason why I seem so far away today. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. If I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia, you're the best friend I've ever had. I've been moved and I've kept on moving, proved the points that I needed proving, and I've lost the friends that needed losing, found others on the way. And I've kissed the lassies and I've left them crying, stolen dreams, yeah, there's no denying. And I've travelled far with coattails flying somewhere in the wind. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. If I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia, you're the best friend I've ever had. Now I'm sitting here beneath the fire, empty room and the forest choir, flames that couldn't get much higher, they've weathered and now they're gone. But I'm steady here, my way is clear, I know what I must do tomorrow. The hands are shaking and the kisses flowed, I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. If I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia, you're the best friend I've ever had. Caledonia, you're the best friend I've ever had.
So that was Caledonia. So can you tell me a bit about like who your influences are when it comes to your music?
So I really like kind of strong female musicians. So as I've mentioned before, Amy McDonald, I think she's incredible. Florence and the Machine, I absolutely love her as well. I love her voice. Older musicians, Blondie, Debbie Harry, I think she's incredible as well. I love sort of the Scottish music scene as well. Jerry Cinnamon, for example, I wouldn't say like I'm his biggest fan as a musician, but what he's done from coming from like just being nobody in Scotland in this tiny country to being kind of like a sensation. It's the same with Lewis Capaldi. They're like kind of internationally known now, and I find that incredibly inspirational. Just being who I am, just being from a small town, kind of nowhere.
Yeah,
Someone's
I find that the same. Yeah, I find that the same. Like people, a lot of artists I love came from smaller towns and backgrounds, and then they became some of the biggest artists on the planet.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is. I find that really quite inspirational.
So you talk me through a bit about your cover songs and like why you pick those songs and what your process is for the cover.
Well, I like to sing. I like to sing along to the radio in my car, for example, kind of anything catchy. I sing along to everything. So when I choose a cover, I choose something that I want to do, and it's not really limited by like what I think works well on an acoustic guitar or whatever. If it's like it can be any kind of song, and I'll try my best to work it into like an acoustic song that I could sing by myself. So an example of that would be Toxic. Like that's kind of a produced pop song with lots of sound and lots behind it, lots going on in it. And I kind of took that and changed it so that it worked for me. And if I'm doing gigs, I'll try and pick kind of the most catchy songs or songs that people know. I do a lot of songs from like my sort of childhood, so nothing that's coming out right now, because that doesn't really appeal to everyone. And then I just kind of do what I feel like and what I think people like.
So what's been like your favourite cover you've done, would you say?
Oh, it does. It depends on the gig, I would say. I think This Is the Life always goes down well. Everyone kind of gets involved in that one. Toxic as well. Everyone loves that one. Everyone kind of goes on with like sings along with that one as well. If it's just me by myself, I would say I really like Hosier, Cherry Wine by Hosier. I love doing that one because it's a little bit more complicated, but it doesn't really work live because it's not so kind of catchy or dance along. So I wouldn't really play that to an audience, but I love just doing that by myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you have any guilty pleasure artists or songs?
Well, I don't really believe in guilty pleasures because I like what I like. I have such a broad taste. So a lot of times I would say that if someone asked me who my favourite artists were, I would probably name someone that was a little bit cooler. But I love Taylor Swift, Britney Spears, old pop songs. I like quite a lot of like kind of alternative emo music as well that might be a bit cringe to say that I like these days, like My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy. Those ones are, they're not really kind of the coolest of bands to listen to, but I like what I like and I try not to be guilty about it, you know what I mean?
Good stance to have. I agree.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite thing about playing music, would you say?
I feel like it's quite kind of calming. It's quite a challenge to pick a song and then try and figure it out and make it work in a slightly different way maybe than what it originally sounds like, or to change the key so that it works with my voice. I do quite a lot of songs that are originally by guys, so I kind of need to change them because so it works better with like a female voice. But I love playing in front of an audience. That's just my favorite thing. I love people dancing along, people singing. It just, nothing really beats that. Nothing really beats hearing people singing along to what I'm doing and enjoying what I'm doing. It's just the best feeling.
Yeah, it must be.
So what are you like your before we come on to our last song, what are your hopes and goals with your music, going forward in your career?
Well, it's not something that I particularly want to pursue as a career, because I feel like if your entire career is your passion, then that becomes everything in your life. And I feel like I would start to like it less if there was a lot of pressure on it, if there was a lot of pressure on making money off it or like needing to be successful in it or whatever. So I'm perfectly happy recording my YouTube videos. I would love to get a bit more kind of reach through my YouTube, and that could become kind of like a side thing, a sort of hobby, and kind of reach more people, gigging on the weekends, working wherever during the week. Like that's kind of my dream for it, to keep it a hobby, something that maybe can earn a little bit of extra money, but something so that I can still love it and there's no pressure on it. I can do it kind of on my terms. That would be like ideal for me.
And then to wrap up, if you could give any advice to people who want to start a YouTube channel or just go out and gig, what would that be?
I would say just do it. I would say don't worry about what other people are going to think, because I struggled with that when I was younger. I thought people are going to think, oh, who does she think she is with her YouTube channel? Who does she think she's famous posting on her Instagram? But you can't worry about what other people are going to say. And for the most part, no one's ever said anything like that to me. It's all in my own head. The most people that I worried would judge me for it, have come up to me and said, I think that's really cool what you're doing. So most of the time you're your own worst enemy. And if you just push through it and don't be afraid, just do it, just get it done.
Yeah. Now we come on to our last song, which is Riptide by Vance Joy. What's so special about that one to you?
I do just love the song. I think it's really good. But it's the first ever tutorial that I posted on my YouTube channel, because it's kind of known for being quite straightforward and maybe easy to learn for beginners. And I love the song, so that was the first ever tutorial that I made, and quite a lot of people have viewed and shared that one. So I think that hopefully I've managed to reach quite a few people with that one, and I just love the song.
Yeah, well, let's have a hear.
I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. Oh, all my friends are turning green. You're the magician's assistant in their dream. Oh, wow. And they come unstuck. Lady, running to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man, and I love you when you're singing that song. And I got a lump in my throat, 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. There's this movie that I think you'll like. This guy decides to quit his job and heads to New York City. This cowboy is running from himself. She's been living on the highest shelf. Oh, wow. And they come unstuck. Lady, running down to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man, and I love you when you're singing that song. And I got a lump in my throat, 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. I just wanna know if you're gonna stay. I just gotta know. I can't have it any other way. I swear she's destined for the screen. Closest thing to Michelle Pfeiffer that you've ever seen. Oh, lady, running to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man, and I love you when you're singing that song. And I got a lump in my throat, 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. Oh, lady, running down to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man, and I love you when you're singing that song. And I got a lump in my throat, 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. Oh, lady, running down to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man, and I love you when you're singing that song. And I got a lump in my throat, 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. And I got a lump in my throat, 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong.
Then, Lily Ferguson, thank you very much for coming in to doing our musical journey. This was presented by Karen McMinamy and Hayley Anderson. Thanks for watching. Make sure you follow us on the Ayrshire Film Company Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen to us on 3TFM.
And is there anything you want to think about, Lily, and your music channels or your Facebook pages or anything?
Oh yeah. So you can find me on Facebook at Lily F Music, Instagram at Lily F Music, and YouTube at Lily F Music.
Okay, thank you very much. See you later.
Thank you.